been elected, he wasn't in a position to...
Wrong. He had a clear mandate. He was in a strong position to defend me.
You're right. If I'd been president, I wouldn't have given in so easily. I would have stuck by you after that article came to light. In fact, if you'd been our Secretary of State instead of Durant, I don't think we'd be in the mess we are with China. But the truth is, I wouldn't have nominated you for Secretary of State in the first place. I would have nominated you for Secretary of Treasury, because your expertise in economics is even better than your grasp on foreign affairs. Now, if I were president, you'd be Secretary of Treasury.
If you were president.
That's right.
You can't do this. What happened? Was it Frank? Linda, listen to me. I understand. Thanks. Deal is off.
Did she say why?
No, other than he changed his mind. But it must be Frank.
Then we go back to the original plan.
That's right. You plead the fifth just like you did before. This is political theater. We get past it.
Jesus Christ.
Focus on the...
What is it?
Remy Danton is volunteering to testify to Dunbar right now.
He volunteered, he wasn't subpoenaed.
Looks that way.
He's gonna sell me out.
That would open him up to prosecution.
Unless he's being protected.
Where's Danton?
I'll call his assistant.
Did you or did you not facilitate foreign money being funneled into political action committees?
On the advice of my counsel, I reserve my right to invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Xander Feng claims you not only facilitated, you orchestrated the scheme. Now, what is your response to that testimony?
On the advice of my counsel, I reserve my right to...
You reserve your right all day long, Mr. Tusk. When you appear in front of a grand jury, as I'm sure the Justice Department intends, your silence will be your downfall.
Does the congressman have a question?
You can hide from us all you want, sir. You cannot hide from a jury of your peers.
Mr. Chairman.
That's it, I'm done. I relinquish the remainder of my time.
The chair recognizes the Congresswoman from Tennessee. You have 12 minutes, ma'am.
Mr. Tusk, our nation is currently embroiled in a trade war with China. It has gutted our economy. It has placed our Navy in harm's way. The president who put us there...
He knew.
Excuse me?
My client reserves the
He knew. Isn't that what you're all wondering?
Quiet, please.
You what, exactly?
There was a mechanism by which a great many contributions were made over the last 10 years. The legality of this mechanism is something that I continue to believe is within the boundaries of the law. But as for the mechanism itself, Mr. Fung is correct. I orchestrated it, I facilitated it, the president knew about it.
Danton just canceled.
Screw Danton. We've got Tusk. Get me the Attorney General. That won't be necessary, Mr. Tusk, if you'll come with us.
That's a shame. Handcuffs were another item on my bucket list.
Right this way, sir. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
We'll want a bond for his cooperation in the hearing.
I'll talk bonds if you'll talk plea.
Response to the testimony has been swift and vocal. Protesters have been gathering in front of the White House since yesterday, demanding President Walker's resignation, and an online petition has already accumulated over 200,000 signatures in the past 24 hours.
The list of lawmakers publicly condemning the president has grown on both sides of the aisle. And this afternoon, the Chinese ambassador also condemned the Walker administration, saying China would not negotiate with the president who dealt with corrupt businessmen behind Beijing's back. This at a time when warships from both countries...
Meanwhile, the president and first lady remain bunkered at Camp David and have offered no public response to the most recent developments in Washington.
I'm here with Isla Sayad of the Wall Street Telegraph. And Isla, I have to begin by saying that sources on the Hill are telling me that the Judiciary Committee may bypass debate altogether.
No one on the committee has gone on record about that.
But do you think these rumors would be circulating if there weren't some sort of strong preference to recommend the articles of impeachment to the House?
I think it's safe to assume there is strong support. Every poll I've seen shows an overwhelming majority of Americans want this to move forward. I don't think politicians are going to ignore that.
I've talked to a number of my colleagues already. There's support on my side of the aisle.
Well, how many do you have?
5 at this point, including me.
That would put us at 60. We'd still need 7 more.
You've seen the overnight polls. He's dipped down into the single digits.
Are you willing to make a public statement with us?
I think the country could use a little bipartisanship right now. Don't you?
Do you think they're bluffing? That it's some sort of stunt to sway the undecideds in the Senate?
Michael Kern is bitter and small-minded, sir, but he wouldn't have appeared publicly with Mendoza if they didn't have the numbers.
I imagine we're worse off in the House than we were before.
In fact, I had a very productive conversation with Jackie Sharp. She agreed to stop the attack if we give her our support for Majority Leader after the midterms, but once Raymond gave his testimony, she called to say the deal was off.
Raymond really has set us back.
I can't fathom why he lied.
It's retribution.
For what? The energy crisis?
No.
Did you offer him something? Well, Raymond's testimony hurts, but it can't finish us off. It's impossible to prove a lie.
Impeachment is inevitable. Public opinion is the adversary now. Facts no longer matter.
You should give Kern a call. The personal touch. If he came back to us, it might make the other Democrats get cold feet.
Well, China isn't helping. President Kian won't return my calls. Beijing must smell death.
They're just exploiting the situation for leverage. Let's not worry about China for the moment. One battle at a time, sir.
Maybe I'm finished, Frank. Maybe I need to start accepting that we won't pull out of this.
Mr. President, I know you're tired. I know this has been hell for you. And yes, impeachment would be an awful blow. We'd have to fight tooth and nail in the Senate. And yes, we'll have to beg and compromise to regain our political capital. But we have it in us, sir, no matter how many scars it leaves us with.
It's not just us, Frank. It's Trisha, it's my children. I stay awake at night, thinking how much it would crush them, seeing their father hold off.
Sir, that won't happen because I won't let it. If we're confronted by the worst, I'll make sure you never step foot behind bars. You have my word on that. He's in the darkness now, and I'm the only beacon of light. Now we gently guide him toward the rocks. Mr. President, you also still have my letter. It's not too late if you want to use that option.
Now, you're more useful to me on the hill than in handcuffs. I'll call Kern.
Good night, sir.